Thank you, Tom. Would all the girls from the 5th grade volleyball team, as well as Coach Connell, please come forward? Kelly Hurler's right here.
Yep.
Great turnout, my goodness gracious. We were talking to the athletic board in terms of how many we thought would be here, and far surpassed our expectations, so it's wonderful. Thank you for joining us this evening. Before actually I begin, I'd like to thank Tom Netterson for his support, the volleyball program, as well as for all of us over the course of the fall of 2011 and beyond. I'd also like to thank Jeff Berg for all of his help, as well as Ron Alba for his advice and suggestions over the course of the past year. But in particular, I'd like to thank Coach Christy Connell for all of her help with the 5th grade girls. She was a tremendous help to the program, and actually at a very key point of our season really helped in terms of focusing on the fundamentals, which is something we certainly needed to do, and it paid off quite handsomely. Well, now I'd like to introduce, most important in terms of the team itself, the Lady Cyclones of the 5th grade. So here all the way at the end, starting on the right, I would be on my right, Jackie Whitman. Congratulations, Jackie. Caitlin Lampy. Kennedy Crane. Victoria Zenz. Tatum Whaling. Jesse Dock. Shannon Zabel, Jesse Connell, Kelly Hurler, Serena Groninger, Allison Bugle, and Brad McCormick. Now, as you can see, we have a fairly large team here, but this is actually not all of us. So we're a grand total of 15. So 12 from St. Paul's, as well as 3 from St. Bruno's. So one thing was for sure, we're the largest team in the Archdiocese. I can guarantee you that much. But by the same token, 9 of the 15 girls play soccer on a regular basis. So for the most part, in terms of games, there would be conflicts, people going off in soccer. So it wasn't really a sense that the girls received a fair amount of playing time, even though in fact we were a very large team. Most of our playing time, though, probably came in practice. On Mondays and Wednesdays here upstairs in the St. Paul's gym, and from the perspective of the teams, it became actually a very fierce competition in practice even, regarding the constant and chronic scrimmages between the 2 aptly named teams of the Rainbow Monkeys and Pi. I still, to this day, have no idea how Rainbow Monkeys and Pi came to be, but generally I coached the Rainbow Monkeys and Coach Connell had Pi. Well, Over the course of the past 7 years, I've coached a number of youth teams, and generally a few weeks into it, you have an idea in terms of how things are going to go, at least for the most part. You seem to take on some sort of path, and earlier in the season, from the perspective here of volleyball, I'd say we were a pretty average team. Probably nothing much really to, in fact, write home about. But as the weeks progressed and the season went on, and September passed onwards into early October, we showed here continual improvements, and to the stage that by the time we reached the final 4 matches of the season, I would say that we were in actuality a very, very good team. With 4 matches left to play in the regular season, we played the first place St. Mary's Burlington, and although they defeated us, the coach of St. Mary's came up afterwards and said that she was amazed at how good our team was. They had played us earlier in the season, and it was a different story. Well, the final weekend at St. Thomas Aquinas in Waterford, we played our best games ever, our best matches ever. And it was really cool because it was something that I didn't anticipate from these girls. I was very, very proud of them. The tremendous character that this team in fact showed. We then continued on the final weekend of October to the St. Mary's Hales Corners tournament. Here, let's see. Caitlin or Jackie? You're both hold on to it. And for the tournament this week, the tournament that weekend, October 28th to the 30th, we were the 7th seeded team out of 8 teams. So we weren't expected to go very far. And something I didn't tell the girls, but I wasn't sure. We had been playing very, very well for the past 4 or 5 matches of the season, so I was fairly optimistic. And on Friday evening, we defeated Holy Apostles. We swept them, which put us into the Saturday semifinals against St. Jerome's of Oconomowoc, and we had defeated St. Jerome's in our regular conference play in both matches that we faced them. So I thought, well, we can probably beat these guys as well, and indeed we did. Which put us then in the championship. The championship game that Sunday afternoon at St. Mary's against St. Matthias. Now, St. Matthias was, for all intents and purposes, I watched them to play their semifinal match. They were better than us. And I thought, well, it's been a great season. I was so very, very proud of the girls. And regardless of how things went on that Sunday, we certainly could look back with tremendous satisfaction for a great year. Well, in the championship game against St. Matthias, the first game we won 25-21. And I think it caught them off guard. I just thought that they basically didn't overlook us, but we played certainly our best single game of the entire season. We were then on to the second game, where if we won, we'd emerge here as the champions. And in that game, we fell down 16-5. The one thing about us is we were never a come-from-behind team. We never overcame more than 5 points of deficit in any game at any point in the season, whether it was tournament or conference. But this time, the girls pulled together yet again. I was very, very impressed in terms of the transition, how good we became, quite frankly, as a team. Taking it all the way down to the wire, we won 29-27 in a real nail-biter. And what I remember most vividly is on the final point, Jackie Whitten serving the ball over the net, and I was standing right by it. I would always be speaking my words of wisdom as a coach, which usually amounted to something along the lines of, serve the ball over the net. And as the ball went over and we won the championship, I stood there and I screamed. I was a little bit carried away at the top of my lungs, and I can remember the girls just all spinning around. And the expression that they had on their faces was one of just complete and total joy. Something I'll always remember. Well, it was a great way to end the season, winning the St. Mary's Hales Corners Championship. You can see our trophy. Our girls also received individual trophies. One of them here is at the end of the table. But in the aftermath of the season, and as time went on, I was thinking here, reflecting back about this team and about basically what we had pulled off, because I never anticipated, and the parents would know this because I kept saying this over email in the closing days here of the season. But it was a situation that took me back here as I kept thinking back to this season to a speech given, interestingly enough, by Winston Churchill, and you're wondering, oh God, where's he going with this now? It was a commencement speech given in 1957 at Oxford University, and it was a whole 9 words. A grand total of 9 words. The shortest commencement speech ever, but it was certainly memorable. It was a great life philosophy. What Churchill did is he went up before all the graduates and the parents and friends here of these people who were graduating in 1957, and he said the following: never give up. Never give up. Never give up. And then he sat down. Well, it certainly was here something that was very, very memorable. You certainly could recall this. You can do it from memory. I know that's pretty impressive. But by the same token, looking back, it is what also here symbolized and signified this season for these girls. Because it was a situation that throughout and onwards as we moved through the fall, that what you had here was this constant theme for us of never giving up. And ultimately, at the end of the day, as Todd already made reference to, it is not about winning or losing in youth athletics, far from it. Rather, it is about building character in young people. And this was really, really a fun group of kids to be around. A tremendous team that never gave up, never got discouraged, and always gave their best. Congratulations, girls, on a fantastic season. Coach and I expect to see each and every one of you back this coming August. Have a great summer. Thank you.